Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Councilman Culp.
Here.
Councilman Cooper.
Here.
Councilwoman Gregory.
Present.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Here.
Councilman McDaniel.
Present.
Councilman Horn.
Present.
Mayor Moorwolf.
Present.
7 present, none absent.
Please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. We do have a special recognition this evening. We have some student ambassadors that are headed to our sister city of Tokorozawa, Japan. I'd like to ask Maki Ostrander to come to the podium to read their names. We're going to present them with certificates as well as Stephen Decatur medals.
Thank you, Mayor. So I brought here today 6 students from the Decatur area. I'm going to call the name, so students. Okay. Logan Bradfield. Oh. Well, maybe you could, that doesn't matter.
You'd think we'd be better at this by now, wouldn't you?
Rebecca Briggs. Micah Penelope Chandler. Ethan Freck. It is in the order. Brady Knudsen. Cooper Settles. So they will leave for Japan on July 22nd, and they will stay there for 2 weeks with 2 different families. That's going to be a really excellent learning opportunity, like hands-on, real life in Japan. So.
And you have to wear your medals the entire time.
They can, if you want.
We'll give them just a couple of minutes to get outside of the council chambers. Well, after all of that fun, we go to appearance of citizens. Our policy relative to appearance of citizens is as follows. A 30-minute time period is provided for citizens to appear and express their views before the City Council. Each citizen speaking will be limited to one appearance of up to 3 minutes. No immediate response will be given by City Council or city staff members. Citizens are to give their documents to the police officer for distribution to the council. When the mayor determines that all persons wishing to speak in accordance with this policy have done so, members of the City Council and key staff may make comments. We did have a couple of people request to speak tonight, but they don't have items on the agenda, so I'm going to invite them to the podium first. We have Jackie Bullard. And Ms. Bullard, you'll have 3 minutes.
Jackie, do you need my address? Okay. Have been a citizen of Decatur since 1961. I initially decided to appear today to ask the city to reconsider its policy of turning off water to families that are overdue on their bills. But the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about what water is to us, I don't feel like that's a strong enough or a moral enough ask. Without water, a home is uninhabitable. It's not just that there's nothing to drink. You can't take a bath. You can't flush a toilet. We had a water main break close to our house maybe about a month or so ago on Country Club, and we were in a panic because we couldn't flush for 3 hours. And to imagine that there are human beings who are living under those circumstances can't be right for all of us. And so I asked the city to take a look at this problem and see if there are better solutions. Water is not like any other utility. You can put on a blanket, right, if you're too cold. You can turn the fan on if you want to. There is something that's absolutely indispensable to both life and quality of life that we shouldn't have anyone in our city who doesn't have water at every time. So what I would ask the city council to do is to look at this issue in depth, ask if there's not a way that we can look at families living, for example, at or below the poverty line, that we never turn their water off, that we never put them in a situation of having to choose between food or getting to work or that sort of thing. And I know there are people who will say, whoa, you're giving away water free to people again. This city spends money that middle class and wealthier citizens use for free all the time. You all put in beautiful boat docks that we can put our boats in and out of, and you don't charge us anything for that. You serve a certain segment of the population when you do that, and I'm asking you if you would also consider doing that for folks who are going to lose their water. One quick story I want to share with you. I used to be on the Decatur School Board when Gloria Davis was superintendent. And she was an extraordinary leader who took this motley crew of people with different political views and life views, and she drew us together and centered us around one question, which was, how does this affect the children, the decision you're about to make?
And I'm sorry, but you're out of time.
Sure. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bullard. And the next requester to speak is Carlotta Witherspoon Taylor. Apparently, she is not able to be with us. So we will move into, and by the way, if it's not an agenda item, people don't have to request to speak on an item. It's just when they are on the agenda. So we will invite other members of the public who have a comment to approach the podium, please.
Every member,
We need your name, sir.
ma'am,
If you could give us your name, sir.
Ross Thompson, and I'm concerned about the traffic issues here in Decatur, the red light runners, the speeders. A member of my family recently was hit in the side by a runner, totaled her car on the day that she'd paid it off. What I'm really wanting to do, we've got red light runners, we've got speeders, we have people that take their mufflers off so they can show how macho they are. The real point here is we can't have enough officers to control that, and I think despite the cost, we should have the cameras at strategic locations, and while you're about it, make penalties that are significantly painful to those people that have a little more respect for the rest of us.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Doris McKay, and I'm back. Since your last meeting, I required a list of members that are intended to be on the Macon County Board Chairman's Data Center Committee. And I also have a copy of a memo sent by the Economic Development Corporation to the board's Environment, Education, Health, and Welfare Committee, asking them to table the Zoning Boards of Appeals one-year moratorium request without discussion or without public comment. It appears that it was agreed somewhere, somehow, to circumvent a public process to instead opt for a private backdoor deal with private meetings at undisclosed locations and a committee stacked with business people, some with a vested interest in the implementation of data centers, and a committee chair who has publicly stated that he's opposed to a moratorium, that it's actions like these that breed distrust in government. I do have a few questions regarding one person that's on that list for the data center, and that's Lacey Elsie. She's the City of Decatur's Director of Economic and Community Development. Who has requested her attendance membership on this committee? The mayor, the city manager, the board, the county board chairman, or the Economic Development Corporation? Is she serving as a representative of the City of Decatur in her official capacity, reporting back to the city and being paid by the city? Or has she volunteered her services as a community member and has no responsibility to inform the city or account for her actions or the actions of this committee to the city? Illinois People's Actions has offered our services of our public policy director and has encouraged the board chairman to make this process open and transparent, encouraging him to engage the public in the process. We've received no response, and this committee continues to meet behind closed doors. This council continues to refuse to entertain the idea of a one-year moratorium on data centers. Have you also received a memo from the Economic Development Corporation? Who do you represent? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Stephanie Brown, and I'm a Macon County resident. Since I've started paying attention to discussions around ADM, Broadwing, and data centers, a term has popped up multiple times, used by individuals in positions of local power or their advisors. That term is stakeholders, and seems to refer to investors and/or corporations to which local leaders feel they owe an obligation. I'm suggesting an alternate definition of stakeholder, which are citizens who desire a good quality of life in their community. Those who actually live and work here, those citizens are stakeholders. Those who may never send an email, perhaps because they're exhausted working 2 or 3 jobs, those citizens are stakeholders. Those who may never speak at a council meeting, perhaps because they live on East Harrison or East Wallace or East Garfield and are prevented from leaving their neighborhood due to 2 freight trains sitting on North 27th, those citizens are stakeholders. I continue to recommend that the council revoke the 99-year lease easement that allows ADM to greatly expand storage of CO2 under the city and lake, which puts citizens at risk. I continue to recommend the council pass a 12-month moratorium on data centers and to employ transparency and cautious decision-making before impacts become irreversible for citizens. I additionally recommend that the council does not rely solely on the county-created and county-directed Citizens Volunteer Advisory Committee, which is not unbiased, is meeting in private, and refusing FOIA requests. Citizens deserve to know how such far-reaching decisions are being made and how it will affect the air they breathe, the water they drink, and the power bills they pay. Lastly, the next time someone on the City Council or the County Board or their advisors mentions stakeholders in relation to the ADM Broadwing Google gamble, I truly hope they're referring to those who have the most to lose, the citizens in this community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Mary Garrison. I'm with Heritage Behavioral Health Center. So good evening, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you, the city, and the council for considering funding opioid treatment initiatives that is appearing on the consent agenda this evening. This is something that we've partnered with the city before and is making significant change and impact in saving lives in our community. So I just want to thank you for your consideration. And as that comes up, if there are any particular questions, I'm glad to support and answer those.
Thank you, Ms. Garrison. Are there others who wish to address council tonight?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Brett Robertson in Decatur. If we go back in time to the 4th of July in 1954, one realty company alone, Moss Realty, had 457 listed homes for sale in Decatur. It was an amazing time. Businesses were investing in the community, bringing jobs and people. And in general, every new job created by industry creates at least 2 other local jobs and services. This is an impact of what economists call the multiplier effect, as money circulates through the local economy. This was a positive cycle. New investment in facilities meant an increase in the available tax base that supported local schools and government services. It meant that property taxes could increase slower than inflation, further attracting people and investment to the community. A new cycle of growth will require the community to recognize these basic economic facts. Both new and existing industries are expanding with a new wave of investments in energy and in computing technology, and they are looking for community partnerships. In 1916, 110 years ago, A.E. Staley told community leaders he needed a massive increase in power and water resources if he were to expand in Decatur. The response he received was overwhelming support. The city built Lake Decatur to support Staley, and Staley responded with enormous investments in Decatur. The infrastructure Decatur built led to many other companies coming, led to new generations of jobs, careers, schools, and the virtuous cycle that Moss Realty enjoyed in 1954. The opposite, fear and hostility to industry, will only cement the status quo, declining population, an even faster declining economy, increasing tax burden on the remaining population, and a tenuous position for our surviving institutions. And this won't be good enough for people, especially young people, who want a prosperous future. Decatur should well know by now that both money and people are mobile, and if we don't invest in the future, other communities will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robertson.
Good evening, Council. I'm still Ann Owens. First of all, this evening, I want to recognize 2 longtime citizens that we lost. Bob Briley, Bob Briley was the Decatur Park Board for probably a good maybe half of my lifetime. That's pretty amazing. And then Brian Hodges. Brian lost his life on the 4th of July. Brian was a coach, a teacher, and a former school board member. He impacted a lot of people's lives in this community. Second of all, I want to tell you, when I got home about 11:15 on Friday night, I did not expect at Saturday morning on the 4th of July at 8 a.m. to be hearing chainsaws surrounding my neighborhood. So I give great kudos to your storm team that got out. Cleanup crews were all over. Decatur police was blocking off traffic, putting out barricades, the fire department, and so forth. Quite an impressive show of power on the 4th of July. The last thing that I want to mention tonight, sadly, my sidekick tomorrow will be 8 years since David Freiling passed away. He was my sidekick for every patriotic and veteran project I have done in my life. So I am going to request that the city consider leaving the flags up downtown for the 250th birthday. So there was a time in my life where Dave and I and George Gagnon and several other people on Operation Enduring Support actually had to argue with city staff and some city council to get support our troop signs put up downtown. We still have 2 of those signs there. And also to be sure that the flags were properly displayed on the street light poles. So I'm always happy to see those flags there. I would love to see those there for the rest of the year in honor of people like Ed Culp, Pat McDaniel, Brett Robertson, retired Captain Williams from the Decatur Fire Department, and several other veterans that work so hard. You can see their names out front on the World War II Memorial and in many other places.
Thank you, Ms. Owens.
Happy anniversary, 250 years of the United States. Only reason the South Shores is still standing today is because it rained just before the fireworks. Y'all got from now to January the 1st to come up with some rules and regulation on them fireworks. It is ridiculous. I walked out of my house last night and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even see the school right up the street from me. So I'm asking the police department, the city councilman, the mayor, the manager, and everybody to work together and come up with some rules on those fireworks, because it is ridiculous. They've been going off for 3 weeks in my area, but the night of the 4th of July, it was ridiculous. So please, come up with some rules and regulations and get them out to the public before the 4th of July next year. I really would appreciate it. Thank you.
And for the record, that was Mr. James Taylor. Are there others who wish to speak tonight? Seeing none, I will open it up to council to make comments. First to the gentleman who was talking about people who speed and run red lights. It's ridiculous. I had 2 in a matter of probably less than 2 minutes at different stoplights, run red lights right in front of me like they just have no respect for anybody or anything. And it's unfortunate. If you're talking about the red light cameras, we don't have a large enough population under state law to be able to put up red light cameras that would catch people running red lights, speeding, that sort of thing. It's limited to, I think it's only, Chief might know, 2 or 3 cities, Chicago, maybe Aurora, and perhaps East St. Louis. Those are the only ones, I think, large enough to allow that to happen. So, and I hope your daughter is okay, and that's really not fair that she got hit in such a way. Mr. Taylor, we do have rules, and we've got laws, and Unfortunately, we don't have enough officers to put them in as many places as people are setting off fireworks, and by the time we get a complaint, most of the time the fireworks are out. But it's just impossible, and I agree with you, it was ridiculous. It went on longer than I ever remember it going. I mean, fireworks were still going off at 3 in the morning. So we've got the rules, we've just got trouble with people paying attention to them and obeying them. Other folks on council have comments. Oh, I would also like to say, Ann, I love having the flags up, and we'll look into it. I don't know if they are built to be up for extended periods of time, or if the weather would be too much wear and tear on them and on our public works crews who would have to take them down, New Year's Day, which might not be that fun of weather. So, Mr. Horn?
I want to respond to a couple of issues. First, to Ms. Bullard's point about not turning off water for occupied residential residences. I mean, I absolutely agree with you that the city should not be turning off the water of occupied residential units, particularly during weather like we had last week, where we were under extreme heat warnings. We have abundant water to supply to our residences. The workers that would be shutting off that water during those times already would be required to take water breaks and take time to cool off during such operations. And we're potentially putting vulnerable residents at risk, because there's a lot of individuals that do not have the ability to go to cooling centers. There's a lot of individuals that don't have access to air conditioning. So why put in an additional stressor? In addition, it's not that we would be saying you don't have to pay your bill. They certainly would ultimately have to pay their bill. It's the timing of when they would have to pay that particular bill. And this is something where, in essence, the Public Works Department would simply not turn off the water of occupied residential units that day, and they'd get rescheduled for another day. And so this is something that is long overdue. The closest we've come on a vote is 3-4 in favor of changing the policy. Perhaps this will be the year we can make that change. In regards to road safety and Mr. Thompson's comments, I think there is more that we can do to reduce the speeding that's taking place. And as one example, the new radar signs that are in place seem to be slowing down traffic in areas that they are installed. I've received probably dozens of requests for new radar signs in other locations, and relatively speaking, if those signs can slow down traffic for the cost, it's a good investment, and we'll rely on Public Works Department and the Decatur Police Department to determine their effectiveness. But we can do something to slow individuals down. I'm also confident that our traffic engineers can find a way to stop the number of people that run red lights, for example, by extending the amount of time a light is yellow, as just one example. In regards to Mr. Taylor's concerns about fireworks, City of Decatur Fire Department is responding to a record number of fires this year. In past 4th of Julys, we have had property damage that has been caused by fireworks. And I would like to see closer coordination between the fire department and the police department regarding messaging as it pertains to 4th of July and use of fireworks. I would be fairly comfortable in saying that the fire department does not want people shooting off fireworks in the middle of the city. It is a safety hazard, both to human health and property damage. And we really need a message from the city that says that. Finally, in regards to questions about data centers, I can speak personally and say that the EDC has not sent any kind of correspondence to me regarding any concerns or they have about data centers. You certainly could use Freedom of Information Act requests to see if the city has received correspondence from the CDC. But the concerns about data centers that residents are expressing here are being expressed not only across the country, but across the globe. And so the city of Decatur must be proactive and coming up with guidelines for data centers before we review specific proposals for data centers. For me, that's just good governance. For example, large data centers could be closed-loop systems for water, but others have used 5 million gallons a day of water. The city of Decatur does not have an extra 5 million gallons a day of water, particularly during drought conditions. And so what we want to avoid is a proposal for a data center that wants to use X amount of gallons of water per day when we don't have it. And then suddenly the city of Decatur has to expand its water capacity at its plant or has to expand its drought water supply during droughts at the cost of taxpayers who already are paying disproportionately more for water than the largest users are. So I think there's an opportunity for the city to do better here as well. Thank you.
And I have not had a chance to review it, but I know the governor signed a piece of legislation regarding AI regulations today, so we need to be briefed on that. As far as the advisory committee, they are a county advisory committee, and I believe their purpose is to gather information, and Ms. Elsie is, there as a resource and to get some information as well from what they're learning. We are planning, we don't have a date yet, but to have a joint city council, county board meeting, which would be very open to the public when that advisory committee completes its work, and have them present it to both bodies at the same time, because we need to be on the same page as far as what's happening and getting the best information we possibly can, because we have to protect our resources. We want to hear from citizens. We want to make sure this is an open process, where I think a lot of data centers across the country have done a pretty poor job of presenting their case and listening to the public. But we are planning to be as transparent as possible. And we need to know the information too. We want to know what they're finding out. So Mr. Cooper, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Horn took some of my thunder, so I'll be brief. But in response to Ms. Bullard's comments regarding the water shutoff during extremely hot temperatures, I do think it's time that we look at the ordinance there and make a change. We do it for cold weather in the winter. If the temperature gets to a certain level or the time period in the winter, we don't shut off the electricity for heat. I think we need to do the same in the summer for extreme temperatures with water. Water is important. And like you say, you can go to cooling centers, and there are several that are set up in the city, but there's a lot of things at a cooling center you cannot do that you can do at your own home with water. So just for health and sanitation reasons and that, people need to be in their own home to be able to bathe and cook and all that with water. So I think we do need to take a look at that and do the same in the hot temperatures that we had last week with water. As we do, we make exceptions for wintertime. For heat, we need to do the same for water in the summertime.
Other comments from council? Mr. McDaniel.
I want to be as positive as I can, but I'm also realistic. I don't want to hurt. I appreciate the speed electronic signs up, but it's like red lights. People know you're supposed to stop, and they don't. They go on through. I live a half a block from one on West Main. I live on West Main. I would say only a small portions of people pay attention. I see people going by 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. It's just realistic. It's the same with fireworks. Everyone knows they're illegal in Illinois. You can only do so much. You can't have a policeman on every corner, every block to stop things. But yeah, the matter of fact, today on Pershing, going through a intersection, somebody passed somebody in an intersection. People, and this is a problem all over the country. It's getting worse and worse. But, just a small portion that I've experienced on West Main, pay attention to those electronic. I'm glad they're up. It does slow a few people down, but the majority of people that speed go right through them. So let's be realistic about it. It's the same with red lights. People continue to go through them. They're going to do what they want to do.
Any other comments? Ms. Cruz.
I remember in driver's ed, a police officer came and talked about traffic and showed videos. Is there an opportunity there for maybe during driver's ed, or does the police department do any type of outreach with driving classes in Decatur? But that could be a possible opportunity, kind of like DARE, but for traffic. Also, I wanted to reiterate what Ann said about the cleanup crew, the public works on that day. I want to say it was maybe 7:30 in the morning, and I saw barricades up and trees already cut up, and it was very impressive. So I want to say thank you as well.
Any further comments? Response? Okay, that takes us to approval of the minutes.
Approval of minutes of June 15th, 2026 City Council meeting. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Colt.
Mayor, can we discuss this?
Yes. Could you give us a moment, Mr. Horn?
The minutes of the June 15th meeting do not accurately reflect my vote on one of the agenda items. I voted present to R 2026-123 pertaining to a unified development ordinance. I did not abstain from the vote as written in the minutes that we are voting on. I won't elaborate too much, but I voted present. This was a valid vote option as indicated by a city staff member in email correspondence in late 2025 and affirmed in an email correspondence by city staff last month. The city of Decatur did not ask for it, nor did it have consent to change my vote to an abstention. Had I been asked at the June 15th meeting whether I wanted to abstain or vote no or yes, I would have voted no. For these reasons, I make a motion that the minutes be revised by city staff to more accurately reflect what took place, and that approval of minutes be delayed until the second meeting in July.
And I will say that it's more of a consistency matter as far as historically, and I don't believe it's hardwired into ordinances, but historically it's either been a yes vote, a no vote, or an abstention with a reason. So I think it was just a matter of consistency, and that's probably how it was recorded. Do we need Ms. Mordlin?
Yeah, I don't think you have to table it, have a motion to table if you want to amend, and that's certainly council's. The wrinkle of your vote would have been different. It wasn't present, abstain. Yeah, I don't.
And his proposal was to amend, correct?
And then table?
To advance this as smoothly as possible, I am open to amending it that I voted present.
Yeah, and the mayor's correct. I mean, when that happens, so present, and we've had previous email conversation about it when I think it occurred last year sometime. The effect of the present, our city code, and voting present and abstentions and the case law in Illinois, we have tried to uncomplicate that so that every abstention isn't a decision of whether there's a quorum, how it fits in. We have tried to alleviate that by requiring 4 affirmative votes, in most cases 5 occasionally, to pass anything. So the effect of an abstention or any other vote is in effect a no, because we require affirmative yes votes to pass items. The problem is the mayor, I think that's correct, is the consistency of it. And when you go back and look, and I'm sure nobody up here is ever going to have to do that or worry about going back and looking at ordinances, legislative history, because how you vote is considered legislative history. Nobody other than probably lawyers are worried about that, and it doesn't happen very often, but I'm looking at something right now using 1960 and 1970 ordinances. And so, you know, my goal is to always keep things as legally correct as possible, because we are going to get challenged on things in the future that we don't want. And any inconsistencies just gives rise to another legal challenge. So I don't even remember. I know you said what ordinance. I don't recall if that was even something that is likely to come up, but who knows what's going to come up. So it's a consistency. But it's this council's decision on what your policies are, what your votes are, ultimately.
So question of process, do we treat this like a regular agenda item where there needs to be a second and then we vote on this and then on the minutes, or do we?
You would vote on whether or not, if the motion is to amend the minutes or correct the minutes, that's first, and then you would vote on the approving the corrected minutes or amended.
So, Mr. Horn, your motion is to amend or revise the minutes, correct?
That is correct, that I voted present for R 2026-123 pertaining to the Unified Development Ordinance.
Second the motion.
Okay, some discussion? Ms. Gregory, did you have discussion?
Yes, I was going to go ahead and second Councilman Horn's to amend to reflect his vote, but from listening to the conversation here this evening, it seems like there has been previous communication between Corporation Counsel and Councilman Horn, and I am fine with it this evening because it does reflect the vote. However, moving forward, I would hope that we wouldn't use present abstention for some later political advantage.
Other discussion? Did Ms. Cruz, did you have a comment? I thought I saw your motion, but I could be wrong.
I did, but I do have a comment. Whatever is decided, shouldn't it be defined somewhere so that there's no confusion in the future?
Yes, it absolutely should. Mr. Horn?
So Councilwoman Gregory's comment about political motivation, I think, is out of line. I'm allowed to vote present. City of Decatur, without my consent, changed the vote to abstain, for which we already have well-defined city council policies associated with when you abstain from the vote. Had I known that I was not going to be permitted to vote present, I would have voted no. The reason I would have voted no was because the city staff has already demonstrated great capabilities in developing new zoning, new zones as part of a zoning ordinance, and I think they could have done the same with this issue. So for me, this isn't about political motivation. It is about having a legal vote changed without my consent. And I attempted to bring this up to city staff prior to tonight's meeting, but obviously it did not get taken care of.
So we need to call, unless there's further discussion, we need to call the question on the revision.
On the amendment, okay. Councilman Colt?
Aye.
Councilman Cooper?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel?
No.
Councilman Horn?
Aye.
Mayor Moore Wolf?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 nay. And now I need the motion to approve the minutes of the June 15th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Colt?
Aye.
Councilman Cooper?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel?
Aye.
Councilman Horn?
Aye.
Mayor Moore Wolf?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
Any unfinished business?
None.
Okay, moving into new business. Item 1, resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding for development of a regional integrated plan for wastewater and stormwater for Decatur, Illinois.
Motion that the resolution do pass and be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. No opening comments for me. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to Kent Newton, Executive Director of the Sanitary District of Decatur, to talk about this MOU and answer any questions you may have.
Hello, thanks for having me here tonight. I think it's been about 12 years since I've been to a council meeting. And if you approve this memorandum of understanding tonight, I'll probably be here a lot more frequently. The whole point of this is that the city and the sanitary district work together on our water infrastructure projects. We currently work at a staff level on this stuff, but the sanitary district has some items in our current permit that is going to be very difficult for us to comply with. And one of the options that the US EPA allows us to do is create an integrated plan. And what that integrated plan does is we as a community work together to figure out what are the most important water infrastructure items for the community, and then we tick those off one at a time. And so this resolution just codifies that we're going to work together towards an integrated plan.
All right, we'll take questions from council, and then we do have a citizen who signed up to speak on this or ask some questions. Anyone in council with comments? Mr. Horn?
Just a couple of comments. Prior to coming to Millikan University, I was a biology professor at Aurora University and president of an environmental organization called Friends of the Fox River. And so I can say that for decades, the environmental community has been expressing concerns about the need for regulation of nutrients from the state's sanitary districts. And given the significant degradation of many aquatic ecosystems from nutrient pollution, regulation of the largest point source of phosphorus in Illinois and possibly the United States is long overdue. And so I want to thank Sanitary District of Decatur and its leadership for moving forward with the regulation of phosphorus. And I think that this memorandum of understanding to develop an integrated plan for water issues is going to be a model for how different governmental bodies can work collaboratively together with a shared vision to accomplish priority goals while minimizing costs to taxpayers. And if we just think about what the impact of this plan might be, I'll give you this example. The Sanitary District of Decatur currently is releasing approximately 4,430 pounds of phosphorus per day into the Sangamon River. When we go to 1 milligram per liter, that will be reduced to 275 pounds per day, right? So that's a decrease of well over 90% in the amount of phosphorus. That's a huge environmental victory. To go to 0.5 milligrams per liter, we would essentially reduce the amount of phosphorus by 137.5 pounds per day. But that's going to cost up to $100 million or so for the Sanitary District of Decatur and its taxpayers. And so the question becomes, are there other projects that we can do for $100 million or less that have a greater environmental impact, whether it's regulating pharmaceuticals that are going in the Sangamon or microplastics or some other joint effort, joint initiatives that the city and the Sanitary District of Decatur have. And so I just want to commend Sanitary District of Decatur for its leadership, for bringing this integrated plan forward. And I think this is a win-win, both from an environmental perspective as well as an economic one. So thank you.
Thanks.
Other comments or questions from Council? Ms. Cruz?
Can the phosphorus be recycled, or what will happen with it?
We currently recycle it by applying it to farm fields as fertilizer. So that would continue. If we go to the 0.5 currently under the technology that is available, it would no longer be able to do that because we would have to use a chemical process, and we would be bringing in chemicals that bind that phosphorus up and make it unavailable to plant life. Our plan is to do a biological process. So right now, everything we do at the treatment plant is biological. The only chemicals we use really are for disinfection, so chlorine and dechlorination. So when we put the water back, it doesn't kill the fish. To get to that lower, when we're still at the point, or when we're still at the 1, it's still a biological process. It's still available to use however we can use it. If we go to the 0.5, which is what we're trying to avoid at this point, we have to use chemical at that point, and it makes it unavailable. So we aren't the source of the phosphorus. What the industrial sources do, they may be pulling that out and using it as a fertilizer just directly. They are going to pre-treat what they send to us, and then we're going to finish it up and clean it up before it goes into the river. Does that answer your question?
So is the bound phosphorus landfilled?
We don't know what would happen with it, but probably it would have to be landfilled, correct? Or it would go to like a mine site, maybe, like a reclamation site, but most likely it would be landfilled.
Other questions or discussion from council before I ask Ms. Rosenberger to come up? Okay. Thanks, Kent.
Yep.
Ms. Rosenberger, if you would like to come to the podium, please.
I'm Verlin Rosenberger. Excuse me. And this certainly sounds like something that really needs to be done. My only concern is that I understand that there's no current technology to reduce the limits of phosphorus as much as it's really desired to be done. And it would take a lot of chemicals and a lot of money to be able to do that. And so my next concern is, how is Lake Decatur water going to be treated after toxic chemical sludge is dumped into the lake from a so-called closed-loop system, of which there really is none, that's used to cool a power plant? There is no current technology to do that. just think about it.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we call the question, is there further discussion? Mr. Cooper, did you? Okay. Call the question, please.
Councilman Cole?
Aye.
Councilman Cooper?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel?
Aye.
Councilman Horn?
Aye.
Mayor Moore-Wolf?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
And that brings us to the consent calendar. I know that Mr. Horn had an item. Oh, I forgot you. I did that again. Ms. Hahn, how about the city manager update?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. A couple updates. The first thing we have on the list are a couple promotions. Kyle Gurrell to Fire Lieutenant and Dustin York, Fire Captain. Then congratulations on a few retirements. We've got Rob Walker, water plant operator, who was with the city for 28 years. Tom Watkins, fire captain, who worked at the city for 25 years. And Carl Zimmer, who is an engineering technician who worked in the Public Works Department for 21 years of the city. So congratulations to them. I wanted to talk a little bit about the tree debris cleanup. It is being extended due to the other storms that unfortunately that we received. So we are looking to get everything to the curb now by Thursday, July 9th. Request, you can still do that online at our website, decaturil.gov, or by calling 217-875-4820. We ask no paper bags, other garbage, or building material on the tree debris piles that Public Works will come around. And just want to commend them as well as everybody else has. They just do a phenomenal job, and we want to thank them for everything that they've done getting everything cleaned up after the storms. Next is just to let everybody know, National Night Out. Please get it on your calendars for Tuesday, August 4th from 5 to 8 at Dansbury Park. We're looking forward to that. And then our last item is Community Impact Days. Economic and Community Development staff has been working with various community organizations as well as KONO. And really what we're looking is to really promote people in the community, residents, community organizations, companies, to take a time during the 17th through the 19th to get out and help clean up the community. So anything that you can do to help make a positive impact on our community, that's what we're looking to do. And people can contact KONO on Facebook Messenger for additional ideas, and we'll get that information posted to our social media and our website as well. And that's all for me.
Okay, and I'll try really hard not to skip you next time. So on the consent calendar, Mr. Horn, you had an item you wanted pulled?
Yes, Mayor. Two items to pull, A and H.
Okay, Mr. Cooper?
He's pulled A already, but I also want to pull G.
Any others? So that's A, G, and H.
Item B, resolution accepting the bid of Oak Bros Tree Care and Removal LLC for lake embankment and shrub removal. Item C, resolution authorizing Lake Decatur Watershed Farmland Conservation Program agreement with Lynn Clarkson for a bioreactor drainage water treatment structure. Item D, resolution authorizing Lake Decatur Watershed Farmland Conservation Program agreement for a pond improvement with Branson D. Quintons and Cassidy Key Flowers. Item E, resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with Steve's Trucking for the demolition of 1705 North Main Street. Item F, resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with Steve's Trucking for the demolition of 277 West Prairie Street. Item I, resolution authorizing approval of proposal from the Decatur Police Department for the use of opioid settlement funds. Item J, resolution authorizing agreement with McQueen Equipment LLC for the purchase of a Ford Frontline mobile command vehicle for the Decatur Police Department. Item K, resolution authorizing payment to CDWG for licensing and use of Microsoft products. Item L, resolution approving appointment, Decatur Housing Authority. Item M, resolution approving appointments, Electrical Commission. And item N, resolution approving reappointments, Library Board of Trustees. I need a motion to approve the items as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Cole?
Aye.
Councilman Cooper?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel?
Aye.
Councilman Horn?
Aye.
Mayor Moore-Wolf?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays. Resolution amending City Council Policy E3, privately owned lead water services. Motion that the resolution do pass and be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Horn?
Thank you. Just a brief comment. While I recognize that the city was required to do so as part of the grant funding that it received, I just wanted to say that I think it's very important that Decatur is moving forward with reimbursing the costs for residential and commercial fixing of privately owned lead water services, up to $6,000 for residential and $10,000 for commercial. I think this is going to be something that the public is going to be much more receptive to, and therefore going to get many more takers, which is important. And it's also very similar to our overhead sewer program, in which we are also reimbursing, I believe it's 100% of the costs associated with individuals that are having sewer backups. So kudos to city staff.
Other comments, Mr. Cooper?
Yes, my comments on, I know we had a meeting and discussed this issue. After I got it and read it, there appeared to be something new that was added that was not discussed. So my concern is I'm very supportive of that they'll pay $6,000 to citizens. Glad we got that far. But I am very concerned that language was put in there about if there's a leak. I don't know where that came from. It's not in the grant anywhere. So I just believe that we should modify that language if they're going to be in there to do the work, whether there's a leak or not. If there's pipes that need to be changed out, that we change them out and not put on that there has to be a leak. I don't understand why that language was added, that if there's a leak. Obviously, we know piping that's possibly is contaminated that needs to be changed out. So at some point in time, we're going to have people go in and check the piping to see if it needs to be changed out by the grant that I read. So why wouldn't we change it out, whether it's leaking or not? It's obviously still an issue if it's the wrong piping. So that's my concern is I don't think we should have put that language in there if it's a leak. How citizens are going to know if it's a leak? It may be leaking and they never know it is leaking.
Ms. Hahn, was the intent to start with the leaky pipes first as to repair them and then move to others throughout? Is that?
Yes, and that wasn't changed, Councilman Cooper. That was included in the original language and what was provided during the small group meetings that we had with all of the elected. So as Matt discussed during those meetings, we get about 100 of those cases per year where they're leaking. So what Public Works is looking to do is generally with those, because they are older, generally they do have, they need the replacement. So starting with those that are leaking, doing 100%, up to that $6,000. For anybody that's already on schedule to have the replacement, the grant does require that we do it at 100%. So they're already going to get 100%. So this would put those leaking ones kind of to the top of the list. We'd be getting them done, getting that problem solved, and paying the 100%. For those that would want to maybe jump the line, so if they wanted to get it done sooner, those we would not do at 100%. But if they wanted to kind of wait until we got around to their area, it still would be covered at 100% because that is required with the grant funding.
Any further discussion? Seeing none?
Councilman Cole?
Aye.
Councilman Cooper?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel?
Aye.
Councilman Horn?
Aye.
Mayor Moore Wolf?
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays. Resolution authorizing approval of proposal from Heritage Behavioral Health Center for use of opioid settlement funds. Motion that the resolution do pass and be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Horn?
I will be recusing myself from this resolution due to a personal relationship with the president and CEO of Heritage.
Any other discussion? Seeing none? David, you don't have to leave the podium. It's not that controversial. It's okay. We're good.
Councilman Culp.
Aye.
Councilman Cooper.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel.
Aye.
Councilman Horn. Mayor Morwolf.
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 recusal. Resolution accepting Rush Truck Center's quote for bus engine overhaul. Motion that the resolution do pass and be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cooper, was this item yours?
Yes. Obviously, I'm in favor of getting the bus repaired, because obviously it's going to cost a lot cheaper for a repair job versus buying a new bus. However, I do have a concern that the initial estimate on the bus repair was $20,000, and for whatever reason is now up over $50-some thousand. So $30,000 over the initial $20,000. So by it being under $20,000, obviously it did not require any action by the council. So I guess my concern is that how did we have such an oversight of the bid being this item being over that much initially that resulted in it going up so high. And my concern is not over a year ago, we had major issues in our financial departments or departments dealing with certain items. And I'm wondering what's the check and balances going forward that this type of mistake is not going to continue to happen at this degree. If we were talking about $500 or $1,000, it may not be an issue, but we're talking over $30,000 matter. And I just want us to hopefully get to the point that we're not having these type of oversights.
Ms. Hahn?
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and apologies. There was an email that went out late today, so you may not have seen it yet, Councilmember Cooper. And the clerk did provide the corrected memo, so the memo that was provided in the initial packet was incorrect, so apologize for that. There wasn't already an approved amount that was over. The request on the attached corrected resolution was for the expenditure of $53,000 for the complete engine overhaul of that bus engine. So once again, apologies that the wrong memo was posted or used in the packet. So we'll work on that so that doesn't occur again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Further discussion or call the question? Call the question.
Councilman Culp.
Aye.
Councilman Cooper.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel.
Aye.
Councilman Horn.
Aye.
Mayor Morwolf.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
Anyone on council with other business? Mr. Culp.
It's been mentioned already, and I just want to bring focus to a couple items. Bob Briley, had a pleasure working with him when he was at the Park District. He was just a true servant to Decatur, Illinois. He raised his family here, stayed here, and was enjoying grandkids, retired. And with the IBEW, he was a strong advocate for our seniors and the Senior Center. So I want to acknowledge the work he did, and Brian Hodges as well. But the storm cleanup, even up till Friday night, early Saturday morning, I can't say enough, whether it's the communication to the media, even the slide presentation tonight, and the Public Works carrying out that work. I know they put in a lot of hours, and it's definitely appreciated.
I will second that. Other comments? Ms. Cruz?
A resident asked, will we be without a comprehensive plan for 2026 through 2028? Which plan are we currently operating under? And could the city provide the results of the previous plan and share with the public? Is that something that we can follow up on, maybe the next meeting?
Yeah, so currently the stopgap measure that we passed was the revitalization plan. So council's using that, or I'm sorry, staff is using that as we are moving forward and working towards the updated comprehensive plan, and the previous comprehensive plan can be found on the website.
And there isn't we don't pay for a follow-up for where are we from the beginning, because we adjust, and as things happen or change between technology, pandemic, things that happen, we adjust, and so it may not be to the letter of what the initial comprehensive plan was, but it's a guidepost for us.
So there's no summary report that says we set these goals and this is what was accomplished. That's not created.
Well, I mean, goals are accomplished all the time, and we check them off, and it goes a different direction, but we don't, pay a company to come in and evaluate where we landed here. I mean, we had the 1 year review, basically, to show what we've done in the last year, and there are you can go back and read the comprehensive plan and go, oh, that's where that came from, or, well, that never happened, and for many reasons that things don't always happen.
But the city doesn't create that. You would have to take the two documents and compare them on your own, but there's not one document created by the city that says these were the goals and this was accomplished. No. Okay, thank you.
And that's common practice. Mr. Cooper, do you have another, or nobody else? Yes, okay, Mr. Cooper.
Just a question on the community grants, the recent grants that we all are evaluating. Do we have any anticipated time frame when you think they will be presented to the council?
Yes, my goal is to bring those back to the next meeting.
All right, if there's no other, Mr. Horn.
A couple of questions. First, since carbon sequestration has been brought up earlier today, a couple of times it's been suggested that the city of Decatur might be putting itself at potential litigation risk if the city discusses carbon sequestration activities that are taking place in the city. I was wondering if there was any specific agreement between ADM and the city of Decatur that this would be the result of. I'm having trouble kind of understanding why the city can't discuss carbon sequestration activities that are taking place within the city.
I'm not aware of any rule like that at this point. I mean, there hasn't been a secret meeting I was invited to.
So there's nothing, for example, that would prohibit the city of Decatur from posting information about carbon sequestration activities on its website. Is that fair?
I have no idea what you're referring to. I mean, I'm not aware of any document, and I don't know what the city would know and what the city would not know.
And unless the city were really involved in it, I don't think it's I'm just not aware.
I'll follow up.
How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Culp.
Aye.
Councilman Cooper.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gregory.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Aye.
Councilman McDaniel.
Aye.
Councilman Horn.
Aye.
Mayor Moore Wolf.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays. We are adjourned.